Our Marauder Chariots, both versions, any good past 6.1.4. Having covered horsemen and wolves/hounds, let's cover the chariots, the regular and a very intriguing Ice Wolves variant. I've been doing High Elf Chariot scripts lately as I write this, so I have some interesting points of comparison. Sled on! Recruited for 750 gold and 188 upkeep, which is not bad at all in my estimation. The Marauder Chariot unit on Ultra comes with 4 chariots at 5,584 health between them. For comparison, Tyrannoc Chariots and a fair number of other stuff has more like 4,888 HP. Armor here is 90, leadership of 70 is pretty decent, speed 78 and charge speed 108 are an interesting combination, as in, that's less normal rolling speed than some, but equal charging speed to your High Elf's chariots. Melee attack 22 is where we begin. Attack interval 4 is standard, splash target size is very large, so other chariots are splashed 2, max target splashed is 3. I'd call these typical values in a way. Melee defense starts at 28, which is funny, but that's how a lot of chariots, roll. Their melee attack is that low, so they can't trade with cavalry well, but defense can be decent. It doesn't matter when infantry swarm you from every side, though. Weapon strength of 40 is split base 29, and armor piercing 11, with a bonus versus infantry of 18, which sounds like a mirror image of the Tyrannoc Chariots, which shoot 2. Here, however, charge bonus is 76, and that's way above the Tyrannocs. Mass is 1500. The unit has Hide and Forest and has the Rage passive, as in, it will get stronger in pitched melee, which is the last place you want a chariot to stay if you can avoid it, but sometimes you can't. Now the Ice Wolf variant. Recruited for 900 gold and 225 upkeep, a big step up. On Ultra, its 4 chariots come for 6,112 health, a decent step up. Armor remains 90, leadership remains 70, but general travel speed spikes all the way up to 95 with charge speed 110. In other words, this chariot keeps pace with Marauder Horsemen. Wow. Melee attack begins at 34 or 12 better, but every attack inflicts Frostbite, so minus 30% speed to your targets. Attack interval 4, splash target size very large, and the max target splash 3 are identical. Collision attacks won't use that splash value. Even the melee defense of 32 is 4 higher, and these are rank 0 values. Weapon strength 75 is almost double the strength. Split base 50 and armor piercing 25, so 2 to 1 just like Ice Wolves themselves, with a bonus versus infantry of 18. Charge bonus 76 is identical, but mass of 2000 is not. This is what I was hoping for. A chariot with a new monstrous chariot mass weight class. For the ranged, yes, it has range too, woo, but it's kind of token. Ammunition is only 12, range is 70, official missile strength 104. These are thrown axes treated as so formidable you'd think Hashut's Dark Ravagers threw them. But there's 16 of those entities in a unit. Here there's only 4 chariots, firing 1 axe each. Now each axe hits for base 24 and armor piercing 80. That is nice. Reload time is 10, total accuracy of 20, the default for ranged units. Calibration distance 40, so a little over half the max range. Calibration area 2. Like other Norsca missile units, this has a small penetration cap and a max target pend of 2 after the first, so if you're lucky, these axes will do even more damage than you expect, and that's already quite a bit. But that's per axe. There's only 4 per Ultra Chariot unit firing at full health, so yeah. The unit can hide in forest, causes fear, and has the rage mechanic of Marauders generally. In the Redline skills, unnatural selection applies to the chariots, not just the hound units, so at 3 pips that's speed plus 12% and charge bonus plus 12 flat, which is a massive boost. At rank 7, Icy Wrath can add melee attack plus 5, weapon strength plus 12%, and an additional charge bonus plus 12 flat. Other factions might add a missile resistance or something, but in all seriousness, this would put both units at charge bonus 100. So the Redline skills are a dream come true for all true charioteers. You could not ask for better. Absolutely nothing wasted. In the tech tree, Crafter's Barding adds plus 5 armor and plus 5 melee defense, starting you off on a better hoof or paw. Horsemaster's Clinchers offer speed plus 10% and charge bonus plus 10%. Now, where this was of very little use to the low charge bonus hybrid unit, Horsemen, that's absolutely not the case here. Plus 10% means you can get legitimate charge bonus 110 potentially. Checking in-game, I confirmed that Axemaker's Stone does apply to the Ice Wolf Chariots, so that's plus 10% ammunition and plus 15% missile strength, meaning those axes have a lot more bite, and Butcher's Captives applies to Marauder units generally, so that's plus 5 melee attack and plus 5 melee defense. That's no waste, not at all. So how do we use the Marauder Chariots? At this point, it's obvious that not only is the Ice Wolf version better, it's not even close, and the gold difference just isn't a lot. It's not that the regular version is garbage, mainly because if you want something out of a melee chariot, it's a charge bonus high enough to mean something when used in anger, and that's absolutely there. It's just to say that if you have a choice, you want the Ice Wolf version, and the Frostbite it brings to keep those foes easier to run down is just a bonus at that point. Also note that the thrown axes do not inflict Frostbite. So why would the Marauder Chariot be valued at this level at all? Well, what does it trade for lower armor than some of the competition from Chaos factions? It has that Rage ability, which builds up to plus 8 leadership, plus 5 melee attack, and 10% physical resistance. It's one thing for this to be on guys with 15 armor, but 90 is pretty darn good. And that means that even though the dream is to use them to charge and roll over your foes, you can leave them in sustained combat, and they will grow stronger, well, even as fatigue tries to weaken them. When everyone is sinking, he who treads water is king. So even a bad quote-unquote use of the chariots will keep them fighting and trying to make maximum use of the bonus versus infantry, of course assuming you're fighting infantry, because if you're not, I'm sorry, chariots are going to have a bad time, and the more armored your foes, the worse it gets. All that said, charge bonus 100 or so, and it's so much raw damage, something needs to be armored like a steam tank to be truly safe. The Ice Wolves again have an advantage thanks not just to more guaranteed damage, but more damage period. But the real advantage is that they are only 4 entities. Some spells are going to still dump on these guys, and I mean on the whole, but a friendly Burning Head or Gehenna's Golden Hounds on top of them won't hurt them that much. It'll hurt chaff they're anviling for a lot worse. So when you have such support, you can be even more reckless with chariots, and being safe with them is never the best plan. It's a matter of controlled risk. Just keep in mind, those Ice Wolf axes do a ton of damage, so if you can't get the perfect charge off, feel no shame in lobbing a few axes and baiting the enemy to chase you and eat your snow dust. Take care and have fun turning around into chasing enemy units and crushing them with your big bad chariots, because that's what they're for. And if it's cavalry and monsters chasing you, well, it pays to have friends, doesn't it?